Hi, everybody. This is the Akashic Record guidance for the full moon on June 11th in the sign of Sagittarius. So, for those who don't know, I'm an Akashic Record reader as well as an energy practitioner, and my name is Katarina. So, let's just get into the full moon. So, the full moon will be a strawberry moon, and it was said that during this time, indigenous tribes would pick strawberries because they would be in season and at their peak. And strawberries in certain indigenous cultures represent the heart of the land, because it was one of the first crops to bless the land. So, when I checked in to see if this is going to be a softer, loving moon, I really did not see a more feminine energy, nor did I feel a feminine energy to this full moon. Instead, this full moon is all about our fears and all about the the things that we think hold us back and the people that we think really trigger us. So, when I said that, it was 111 on the screen. And so there's a lot of new beginning energy. As much as this is a full moon, where full moons represent more of so the culmination of something to come. So if there has been something you've been working really hard in, I see mostly from people this will be career oriented, that if there's something that they're trying to present to the world, there will be a culmination in the sense where you may feel like you're finally getting the clients, or you're finally getting the money, or you're getting the backing and the support in order to launch your career or in order to transition. I see also an exchange of money during this time. To be more specific, when I see the money, I see money being um, extracted, meaning you may feel like you're losing money during this time, but in actuality, the money that you think you may be perceiving as lost, or you may be giving away, whether it's because you had to pay something unexpected, or you are no longer receiving a certain funding from a certain source, this is actually serving your highest good. This is serving your highest timeline, because you are meant all forms of money you are meant to receive in this lifetime are meant to be forms of money that feed into things that bring you joy, feed into higher frequency vibrations. So if there's money that you're receiving or that you're getting from a place that you don't feel happy about, or that you feel maybe anger or resentment about, or you feel like the person, like your boss or some person giving you the money, isn't really supportive of your dreams, this is a time where that will be that will fall away, because in order to achieve your highest source of abundance, your highest timeline of abundance, you have to shed those illusions that you will take money wherever you can get it, because not all money is good money. When I say that, I mean there are times where opportunities that are presented to you may seem really great on the surface because you're receiving X amount of dollars, but then you have to sacrifice your integrity for that money. That money isn't good for you. It isn't good for your highest timeline. So reflecting, when you do get presented, I should say, opportunities for money, does it serve your highest timeline? Is it in authentic to who you are, as opposed to making a decision from a place of lack, from a place of, if I don't accept this money here, I may not get this money over here. When you know your work, you know who you are within, you know what you want to attract, you are more willing and are in a more powerful position to decline opportunities that truly do not represent who you are and who you are meant to be on this earth. So, money is going to be, the transaction of money is going to be very symbolic during this time, and there may be bills that come up that may surprise you, that may come out of the woodwork, and there may be talk of money and how does money affect your life, and how do you let it affect your life. So I abundance and abundance and more abundance is just continuing to come up for this full moon. So I would really take the time to pause and reflect at this moment. What does money mean to you? And how authentic is your receiving of that money? Meaning, where you get that money, does it serve you? Does the person and the energy you get that money from, does that serve you? Does what you're doing in your job, is that for your highest good? Is it something you're truly passionate about, or do you feel like you're compromising your values in order to receive that money? So I also want to talk about, and I see the body and the physical pain that people may be experiencing during this time. I see soreness, mainly I see tension in the neck connecting to the décolletage and down into the arms. If you're feeling stiffness here, it may be a sign that you're going through an energetic upgrade, that your body is changing. And I see for a lot of people, their relationship to their body is changing. So instead of seeing your body as solely aesthetic, a lot of people are beginning to value their body for what it does for them. For example, valuing their body for the fact that it digests their food, that they're able to walk, if they're able to walk, that they're able to use their arms, that they're able to have a regulated somatic nervous system, that their central nervous system is working, that their brain is functioning relatively well. So there may be also opportunities where you see others who are not in the position, or who have a different physical ability than you, that may bring a lot of gratitude in your life for the body that you have. Because the body goes beyond the aesthetic, it goes beyond the number on the scale, or the number of your pant size, or even the way that it looks in the summer, especially because we're entering summer season. It goes beyond that. And instead of looking at your body as something to make smaller, looking at your body as something to expand energetically, because our body, the purpose of our body is to hold our energy, is to hold the physicality of our humanness. So understanding that the body is genuinely sacred and genuinely something to revere and to respect, we then shift our relationship to our body and let go of the obsession and the need for our body to look like that person on social media, or to look like that person that we admire, but instead valuing the uniqueness of who our body is and how it expresses itself. Because we are not all meant to look the same. We are not meant to look like the catalog picture of a certain person. We are not meant to all fit into a certain size. All our bodies change and grow as we age and as we mature. So when we honor that, that is when true acceptance and true unconditional love comes in the picture, and not expecting to love ourselves after we look a certain way, but instead grounding ourselves in the thought that our body is marvelous. It does so much for us. And again, centering in the fact that our bodies are not meant to all look the same. We're meant to be unique. We're meant to have certain curves in our body. We are meant to have a certain look in our body. And of course, there's also the idea, which I feel like is a very hot and new thing, biohacking. How can I biohack my life so I can look a certain way? And instead of saying, how can I biohack my life to like that look like that person, instead saying, how can I change my habits and my thoughts so I can feel better? And then by result, or the result of that, is that maybe my body changes a bit, or maybe I begin to finally look at my body with love, so then I see my body as inherently perfect and capable. So reaching beyond the limitation of the propaganda of what our bodies need to look like is something that's truly coming up right now. There's a lot of push around the GLP-1, I believe it's called, regarding uh, re- regarding, I believe I think the most popular one is Ozempic, and there's no judgment if you may be taking that or you may be considering taking that, but the stem of the issue with pushing this particular medication is that it preys on the idea that our body isn't enough, that our bodies are too big, or that our bodies don't look and fit into social narrative of what's healthy. There are people who they run every day, they eat very, very healthy, they move their bodies, and they feel mentally very well, and they're not a size 2 or they're not a size 0, and they're maybe a size 10 or a 12 or a 14, or even like in a men's scale, they may not have like a 32-inch waist, but they have a 36 and a 38 and maybe a 40. And that's just because that's the structure of their bones, that's the structure of their body. And they accept that. And maybe they had a tumultuous time accepting that they didn't look like the swimsuit model, or they didn't look like a certain Olympic or certain celebrity, but instead they accepted that if I'm feeling my healthiest, if I'm feeling my happiest, why do I feel like my body needs to look any different? And of course, if you don't feel like you're at your happiest and your healthiest, make sure it's not because of the way that your body looks, but instead it's how you feel within. If you feel like you could challenge yourself to eat a little bit more fruit, or to eat more vegetables, or to be a little or feel like you need a little bit more balance in your diet, then by all means do that, but do it from a place of feeling rather than a place of obsession over what you need to look like, because underlining the word need, that then it becomes an unhealthy obsession, and then we never truly are happy. The same idea is when we get millions and millions of dollars, that's not going to make us happy. We may be able to do certain things like, fly first class, or go to travel across the world at a last minute notice, but those are still things of luxury, are things that we define as luxury. So if there's something that you can do that makes you feel luxurious, that makes you feel wealthy, that is within the ability you're able to do, then by all means do that, because then that activates the feeling of prosperity, the feeling of abundance. But to think that once we get that money, we're going to be happy, that's not how life works, and that's not how the soul works. The soul is happy when we are kind to it, when we put aside our inherent desire to judge ourselves and others, when we are attuned to the present moment, and when we allow ourselves to do things moment by moment. In a couple videos previously, I believe it was a new moon video, I talked about the the downsides of constantly multitasking, and that multitasking, I will say it again, creates a lot of unnecessary anxiety, and it doesn't allow us to give our all to one specific task. And that even can create negative thoughts, because when we're constantly trying to control the future, our soul, our higher self, doesn't like that. It doesn't like that we are trying to control something that genuinely isn't controllable. And we can plan and we can plan and we can plan, but life is going to continue to tell you, well, you know what? You may be planning for A, and I'm going to give you Z, because that is what life is. And life is just accepting the miracles, accepting the surprises, accepting the last minute dinner invitation that you may have gotten, accepting that instead of doing your regular routine, you may be called to go to the park and just lay there. Accepting the flow instead of opposing the flow is what creates and generates deep well-being in our lives. And Also, there is a lot of focus during this full moon on taking care of our energy body, because when we're feeling aches, there is a sense of upgrade. We may be feeling exhaustion during this time, inherent fatigue. We may be even feeling like certain parts of the pain that we have had in the past are getting aggravated. And it's because your body is trying to break out of the system you created to that has then led to pain. Because when we have pain, it is a manifestation of something in our life or something genetic. So our body is trying to break free of the systems that we put ourselves in, of the patterns that we continuously give into that create the pain, or also feeling like we need the pain in order to understand our cues, in order to understand where we're meant to be. And instead reframing that as, I do not need the pain in my body in order to understand where I'm meant to go. I listen to my body, I honor my body, I honor what my soul needs, and I follow my soul's purpose with the least with no resistance. I was going to say the least amount of resistance is possible, but the more powerful is I follow my soul's calling with no resistance. I follow the flow of life. And the resistance and the overthinking is what create, and the stress that's caused by the overthinking is what creates the pain. And when also dependency on what others think in order to follow our purpose is also what creates the pain, both emotional and physical. And never truly getting over the way that other people act is what also creates the pain. For example, if you have an aunt or an uncle or a family member or friend that just really rubs you the wrong way, and you keep talking about it and you keep getting aggravated about it, that then manifests into some sort of physical pain, whether it's in your hips or your knees or your shoulders. So, when we decide that we don't have to rely on others to feel better, we then empower ourselves to feel good no matter what, feeling good unconditionally without conditions. And that is what liberates us. So, in addition to those pieces, as I was saying, regarding cleansing our energy and being aware of our energy. So, there are a lot of tools that we can use to cleanse our energy, both internal and external. The internal practices we can participate in to cleanse our energy is consistent meditation. I always advocate for meditation every day. And if not every day, start with once or twice a week. Because when we sit in meditation, we cleanse our energy. Also, then in addition to meditation, you can do shower energy cleansing. When you're in the shower or when you're taking a bath, visualizing energy being released and going down the drain every day. That's an easy way to cleanse your energy in the morning or the night whenever you take a shower. Going outside, taking off your shoes, having your feet touch the earth, that's also a form of cleansing. Having access to sun every day, that's a form of cleansing. Touching a tree is a form of cleansing. Then there are other things in your space. The idea that the space is sacred is so important. When I took a Denise Lynn, for those who are aware of who Denise Lynn, I took a training with her regarding space clearing and what is it that the space should feel like. And the space that you live in should feel safe, it should feel peaceful. And if it feels chaotic right now, that is a sign that maybe you could add things to your space that are going to uplift it. One of my favorite crystals for uplifting the space is selenite. Selenite easily and seamlessly cleanses the areas around you, especially having selenite in the bedroom, because we don't want to take the shit that we absorb during the day. We don't want to take that shit to sleep, okay? Because then in the morning, that's still going to be there. And as much as we sleep, if we don't meditate or use other tools to release the energy, we're consistently going to feel the same way every day. In addition to selenite, I really recommend doing some playing like high frequency music in the home or in your room, whether it's doing a sound bath online, or there are plenty of high vibrational music channels on YouTube. I love doing that as it's an easy way to uplift the space. Bringing in real plants. I emphasize real plants. I am not a supporter of fake plants because they really are unnecessary and and environmentally not good. So if you can at least start with the succulent, something that's really hard to kill if you feel like you're afraid of killing a succulent, or something that may not be, if you have cats or dogs, something that's not poisonous to either of those. There are certain plants that are not good for cats or animals, so definitely do your research. Adding plants to your space, whether that's a succulent or whether that's even a flower that you got from the your walk or your garden, putting a single flower. It could be something simple, it doesn't have to be intricate. And then I also recommend a certain herbs, like sage is one of the most popular herbs to cleanse your space. Burning white sage is a good cleansing material. Mugwort, also known as black sage, is a protective sage, so it's going to protect your energy. So that's really good if you're constantly around a lot of people during the day and you're absorbing a lot of stuff. Then Palo Santo. Palo Santo is a piece of wood. It comes from a certain tree that is said, it's known as holy wood, and it creates a sacred space. So those are some tools. If you are not that big on sage or the smoke, then I would suggest lighting candles pretty regularly. If you like candles, intention candles, or sprays, like finding sage sprays or finding sprays with rosemary or lemon or orange, things that are uplifting to the space. So these are things that are really coming through regarding knowing how to take care of your energy maintenance. And then regarding any last pieces regarding the strawberry moon, I would say are taking care your of the way that you present to yourself. When I say that, I mean trying to dress in a way that makes you feel good, and changing the way, look at your wardrobe, look at your closet, and think to yourself, does this clothes express my highest version of me? And you may have certain pieces that do and certain pieces that don't. So during this time, there's a bit of a purging energy of going through your closet, going through your things, and see what serves you, what doesn't, and seeing, am I expressing myself the best way that I believe that I can in my clothes, in my body language? Because what we put on our body is also sacred. We're adorning our body with something that has energy in it. So if it's an energy of low confidence or of sadness, that is inherently what you're going to express to the world as you move through the world. But if it's of lightness and of beauty and of joy, then people are going to feel that, and you yourself are going to feel that. And there's going to be a change. I do see, for those who really reflect, there's going to be a change in their outlook on life, a change on the way they interact with people. There's going to be a confidence. Or even maybe it's the way that you do your hair, or if you put on makeup, if you do your makeup, or the way that, or the jewelry or that you put on your body, everything affects everything. So what is there something in your life that is not of the energy and the vibration that you don't want to interact with, or that you want to let go of with love? And then in regards to relationships, how we were talking about the relationships with ourselves and our body, and also the relationship that we have on dependency, there's going to be some talk around feeling like you can receive support in your relationships in a way that you don't feel like you're dependent on somebody, but instead, and if you feel like there is dependency, there may be conversations around this time, but more so shifting your energy towards relationships that are empowering, that you feel like, yes, I can definitely check in on this person. We can have a good time, and they can be there for me when I need them and when I allow them to be there for me. But in the end of the day, the sacredness, the most sacred relationship is with myself. So when you see that your sacred, that the most sacred relationship is with yourself, you are more likely to engage in relationships that are more empowering and that are not coming from a source of need or insecurity, but instead from a place of love, a place of playfulness, and a place of joy. So, shifting the interactions you have with people and your relationships, or maybe if you tend to isolate yourself and you tend to say, I don't really have that many friends, I kind of just keep to myself, allowing yourself to show parts of who you are, parts of your authenticity, your genuineness to others, is also going to help you attract people that are going to honor you and are going to honor who you are without feeling like you need to change for somebody else. So are my messages from the Akashic Records for the full moon on June 11th. This June 11th full moon will be around 12 around midnight, 12:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I believe 3:40-ish a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be a beautiful full moon, and it's going to be tinted with a little bit of pink. So this is really exciting, and I hope that these messages were helpful for you in some way, and I appreciate you taking the time